Hello guys, welcome to the channel here today for another match preview for FC Barcelona after what we have seen against Celta Vigo. This time around we are going to face Mallorca, an away game in La Liga this Tuesday. There is no Champions League, no problem, but we have a midweek game this time around against Mallorca, an away game. And after the game that we have seen against Celta Vigo, that was very worrying, a warning game that just for us to let us know that we are not yet where we want to be. We have to be very careful with those teams because they can be a trap, they can be very tricky, and they can put us in a very difficult situation as Celta Vigo did. And this time around we are going to face Mallorca on away game. And we know that away game are always difficult for Barcelona. It's not the first time we have seen against Getafe, the first La Liga game against Villarreal, against Osasuna. It was always complicated. It's always complicated. It's going to be complicated unless we make a change, unless we send a message, unless we start winning those away games by a large score, by a large amount of goals, 4, 3, 5 goals, whatever it is, just to get the 3 points. That's the most important thing, guys. And this time around we're going to face Mallorca. Because guys, I want to come back to that game against Celta Vigo. What we have seen against Celta Vigo is a warning to Barcelona, because Xavi was saying that we have to be very careful because those kind of things, they can trap you, they can put you in a situation where you can easily lose your game or lose point, get just 1 point instead of 3, and that's what happened. That's what almost happened against Celta Vigo. Fortunately, we had the chance to have a very qualitative team in Barcelona, because we have those players. We have Lewandowski, those kind of players who can save you in a game that you are actually sinking, and they can save you. Celta Vigo, they have witnessed it. Lewandowski, Cancelo, and joao, Felix, they saved Barcelona, and Xavi as well. But what a pass from Xavi, that was just incredible, and we enjoyed the game in the dying minute, even though we were struggling the whole 80th minute, the first 80 minutes that we witnessed. That was just awful. As a Barcelona fan, as if you want to see game, if you want to be football, if you want to see beautiful football, you're supposed to watch Barcelona. And what we have seen against Celta Vigo was just not acceptable, because we are facing a very difficult team. We have to find the solution against those defensive block team that can defend and then try to counter-attack and put us in a very difficult situation. Against Celta Vigo, that's what we've seen. They were playing with 5 behind, and that was very difficult, very compact. They made the middle, because in the past few games Barcelona were finding their way through the middle, and this time around against Celta Vigo they managed to block the middle, to put so much player on the middle, and the wings were not there were not too much movement, and it was due to the kind of player that we are having actually in that game, because having someone like joao, Felix on the left hand side and Ferran on the right hand side is not easy, because those kind of players that are more central, they are going to converse in the middle and try to connect with Lewandowski. If you don't have someone on the line, it's going to be to make the difference, to go to take those fullbacks on 1 versus 1 is going to be very difficult. And we have witnessed it. We have seen this is very difficult for us. We have to be very careful with that. And when players like balde, Raphinha and Lamine Yamal, they got in, we got more movement, more flexibility in the team, and that was just very incredible. That's the luxury of having players quality players on your bench, sitting on your bench, because every time they come in, they can make a difference. They can put you in a very comfortable situation and save you where you're going to save you a game that you were supposed to lose, and that's happening against Celta Vigo, and we have to be very careful. Against Mallorca, it's an away game. As I said, it's always difficult, but we have to be very careful and try to get the 3 points. Because that's the most important. You have to win those kind of games. Those against those teams that were supposed to be inferior to you, and you are supposed to be the one who's going to be the one who's supposed to win the game. You have the highest percentage of winning the game. And if you go there and you to start falling around and losing points, having a very bad game, it's going to be very difficult. And this time around we are going to do without Frankie de Jong, without Pedri, and that's just difficult, because we know, guys, without Frankie was almost actually since the start of the season. Some may say that it was Lewandowski or other players because they are scoring goals, but the best players for Barcelona since the start of the season, you cannot take out Frankie de Jong and Jules Koundé, because their performances, what they are bringing to the team is just amazing. It's incredible. They are just everywhere. As Frankie de Jong, he's just everywhere in the middle. He's the one who's the one who controls the team, who do everything in the team, and losing him is not going to be easy for us. We have to be very careful with those teams that we are going to face. No Frankie de Jong, no Pedri. Very difficult, but we have to do without it because it's the football, it's how it is. Injuries are part of the football, and we have to go out there and try to deliver. We have players like Gundogan, Gavi, Fermin Lopez, and Oyo Romeu in the middle, and sometimes maybe Xavi can try players such as Marc Casado and other players, and the young players from the youth setup. We have to be very careful with that and try to use players in a very wise way. And this time around, we are going to face a team that is supposed to be inferior to us, but we have to put out there a very strong team. That's why I want to go. My possible starting lineup, I want to go with a very strong team. Like if I had Frankie de Jong in the available, I would go with him. But since he's not there, he's injured. We have to go with the players that we have. That's why in the back line, I will go with Ter Stegen, of course, in the goals as always. And the back four, we are going to go with Balde, Cancelo, Araujo, and Kunde, or Araujo and Christensen, because Kunde and Christensen, one of them are supposed to be rested because we know that they have played a lot of amount of game time in the past few games because Araujo was injured. And you have also Inigo Martinez, but I'm not going to start him in this game, maybe to give him game time in the second half. That is going to be very good for him. In the middle, we are going to go with Gavi, Gundogan, and Oyo Romeu. But this time around, Oyo Romeu, the game that he had against Celta Vigo was just very worrying because it's like everything that he was trying to do was very complicated for him. Like he was missing passes, like very easy, simple passes that every time he's going to be intercepted by Celta player. But I'm not going to blame him because if you have seen the game, there were always two players on Oyo Romeu. It's like the time back in the time when Real Madrid play against Real Madrid, Benzema and another player was always going to come closer to Busquets, like, to make life difficult for him and make it very complicated for him. That's the way Celta were playing against Oyo Romeu, and that's why it was very difficult for us to move the ball very fast. And this time around against Mallorca, he has to be very careful and try to make like very easy decision and very quickly because we need to move the ball very fast in order to surprise the opponent. And up front, no change. I will go just with one change. Sorry, I said no change, but there will be only one change. Lewandowski, as always, is going to start the game. Joao Felix is going to start as always. Very good game against Celta Vigo. A little bit complicated, but no problem. Great assist that he had for Lewandowski. Thank you, Joao. And on the right hand side, I'm going to start with Raphinha. There is no discussion about it. I'm going to start with Raphinha. The reason is simple because I know that Ferran Torres is working hard. He's working really hard to get back on track, to be really available for the team, very great for the team. He had an incredible run of goals in the preseason and also in the first LaLiga game. It was just incredible. And we are not like saying that he's not working hard, he's not good because just he had a very bad game against Celta Vigo. We know that he's going to provide, but this time I'm going to start with someone like Raphinha because Ferran Torres, I prefer to sub in the second half, and also the same goes for Lamine Yamal. He's very young, but you need to give him time to grow as a player because you're not going to put him out there and try to risk him every time against those full-grown man who's going to probably hurt him. You have to be very careful with our young players and give them time and let them time, give them the time to grow as a player. As all those who haven't known Barcelona, they are talking about it. They say that you need to give time to Lamine Yamal for him to grow as a player and as a man. And maybe he can be very interesting to the team. So guys, that was my possible starting lineup. And I hope that this time around we are going to see someone like Fermin Lopez having some few game time. It will depend on the score that we're going to have during the first half. If in the first half we manage to get 2 or 3 goals, probably Xavi is going to make few changes, and players like such as Fermin Lopez and probably Casado, they are going to gain few game time. That is going to be very interesting for us, for young players to get game time and to grow as footballers. That's very important. And I hope that we're going to win this game. Probably my prediction will be something around 3 goals, 3-0. We are not going to concede against Mallorca. I'm sure of it. I'm sure maybe you're going to destroy me back in the channel here where if we're going to concede at least 1 goal. But I'm sure this time around we're going to keep the clean sheet and test again. We have to vouch for him because he's doing a good season actually. He is very impeccable against Celta Vigo. He saved us on several occasions, and I hope this time around he's going to keep the clean sheet. So guys, that was my possible lineup and what I have to say about this game. I hope that we're going to get the 3 points. That's the most important thing. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my channel and give me some support. Shout out to you all. Thank you for your support. Ciao.